Hi, all. Welcome to the Just Jump In live stream. Happy Friday. Hope I can help kick off the weekend. Hey, Split Rock. Welcome to the live stream. As we just get started, we're getting a few hellos from folks. And if you're out there, say hi. And even if you're in the background working on something or doing something else, just say hi and let me know you're in here. And hey, Randy. You're not out and about in any woods, are you tonight, Randy? Looks like we have a really good crowd starting up here. Derailed Daryl, it's nice to have you in here. I haven't seen you lately, but nice to have you around. So tonight I actually got something done this week, so we're gonna go over that and a little bit of show and tell as usual. And so let's go ahead and get started. So you might be able to see a little bit on the end here. That's a little different, but I'm going to bring up some slides for us and just go through those a little bit, just a couple slides tonight, and get rid of that screen. So the next step that I needed to work on were the grab irons. I talked last week about my fails and my C grade work that on these, and as you can see with these up close pictures, will always show you problems with your work, which is good. Once again, this is a first time for me making my own grab irons and measuring them out. So the instructions. Oh, welcome, Gopher Girl. I did hear the garage door. I figured you would be home. Thanks for jumping on and keeping the raucous crowd in order. And so I have a set of cheap digital calipers, but they work well enough. They don't go down to the thousandth; they go to the hundredth. So some of the measures, I are very close and everything. So in general, you're seeing up close on these slides, and but they're very, very. The clearance is very close to the ends here. And so that was a bit of a challenge in trying to get them all to be level and drill the holes where they needed to be. This was a number for this one was a number 78 drill bit, I believe it was. It was number 78 of 0.016 in diameter. This is 0.015 brass wire. And they break very, very easily. And so I had to go out and get another set. I toyed with getting a second set, but I was like, I only had a few of the grab irons left. I was going to go for it, and I didn't break either of the drill bits that I got, luckily, so I didn't have to do another run to the store. So yeah, it's getting to be campfire weather, by the way. So that sounds like something kind of fun. But so on the ends, the added thing that we needed to do, and I'll show you. I don't remember if I showed last week because I'm still getting over this sickness and don't remember what I told you last week. But so Willow Creek, when you say you use candle wax on it, you just you just drip the candle wax over the threaded end and and use that. I'm curious what you mean by that. The added thing to do on the sides of the car with the grab irons is bending them to in a downward position. This was not easy to keep it as scale as possible. Some of the bends are going to look really big and did look really big and landed in my um my my little bin of F rated grab irons. And then the ends were just straight grab irons. And so I struggled again. We talked about last week with the styrene. It sort of gives a little bit, and bends the wire, digs into it a little bit, and it's not as tight. You drill into a candle. Okay, gotcha. So some more pictures here of the end grab irons as I was getting them done. So there were 2 on each end and 2 on each side at the ends. And so just a couple pictures of me getting them. They're by no means pretty, but they get the job done. I used it was to space it to get the 3000s or 300ths. I used a number 136 300th by 125 styrene that I had strip, so I didn't have to cut it out. It fit in there well enough to give me some space and to glue them in place. Wanted to show you on the bottom here, there's that chain again. So I cut the chain too small and the wire too small. So it barely touched the edge of the car. And so it wasn't staying with glue. So I'm going to have to either bite the bullet and redo this chain. I've got plenty of chain links, but it wasn't a fun job to do. But that whole piece came off with the brass wire was also glued to the styrene, but that also popped off from manipulating it so much. So I'll have to do something about that. Wait, welcome. Good to see you in here. So another shot, and you can see where the chain flew kind of pulled way off to the side, and so that's something I'll need to fix. But I did get the grab irons in there. I glued them in. I'll try to give you a close up. The super glue I use is a little bit different. It's one that's odorless because I was finding with at least the Gorilla Glue super glue, I was having a reaction from the fumes. This one takes a little longer to dry, and it's doesn't seem as sticky as the other super glues, and so you have to use some activator on it as well. So I'll show you that in a couple moments. Just some more pictures of my wonderful work. Oh, yep. And let me go back one. So here's where I started to do the brake wheel. Now the Details West brake wheel I came with did come with an assembly, but it only looked like half an assembly, and I couldn't make out how it should look. And how to attach it on here. So I took their advice and the clinic advice, and I cut it out of styrene. The bottom one you can't see because it's flipped over. It has like it's supposed to have a wheel with serrated edge, so that when if you're turning that brake wheel, it's clicking into place. It was too small for me to really cut the serrations in it, if that's a word. And so it's just a round piece that I put on there, and it's 2 pieces. One is the top piece is channel styrene, where I cut off the end of the channel and rounded it a little bit. And once those dried, drilled the using the number 78 drill bit, drilled into those and into that second level on that bottom piece to sit the brake wheel wire. So in here you can see here's the brake wheel and the wire inserted and glued in place, and it's staying in place. And unless I read the directions incorrectly, I'm concerned about doing this step and still having to put the wood planks on. I'm just worried about handling it too much and having to deal with that popping off again. Let's see what I got left. Okay. And so the next step I started working on was making the steps for the corners. I didn't think I was going to be able to do this, but this first one, I'll try to give you a close up. I don't know if I'll be able to do that. This first one came out actually really well against their measurements and what they did. But with this super glue, because it takes a little extra time to dry and I've got shaky hands and everything, even getting the activator on it, I wasn't able to get the first, excuse me, the first one to stay on. So we'll see how, if there's any other way for me to keep it in place and get it to stay on. Again, because now with that brake wheel on, I can't just flip the car over and have it lay flat and, use pressure on there. So maybe I'll use the 1, 2, 3 blocks or something and put it up away from the brake wheel and see what we can do. I only got one of these cut out the other night, and so that's where I got to. But I wanted to show you some of this stuff, and I had some questions for the group as well. So I'm gonna take this off of here, and so here is the car, and we'll see if you can see how small that is. So it gives you a surface. Yeah, I didn't think so. It gives you a surface here for the underside and a surface to glue on the front of the car. So glue kind of right on the front there. So I'll have to cut more of those out. But my question to the group and to those out there watching afterward as well is the only it had to be super thin according to the directions. It had to be 005 sheet, and so that's what I got. This is KNS brass sheet. Cutting it is difficult with a X-Acto knife. So if anybody has any suggestions on how to do that, I'm all ears for that. What I decided to do, this is the second one I actually cut out. The other one is on the carpet abyss below somewhere. I scored it a little bit at approximate measures. So I knew when I cut this out thin, I know where to do the bend, and that worked well with this second one. But I can cut it with a X-Acto knife. It just takes a while, and it's gonna destroy the knife real quickly. But it works. But any suggestions on that would be helpful. So the other thing I wanted to show you, this is came in like a 4-pack or 6-pack of tweezers, and it has this end here that it's angled a little bit, but it's still flat. So in order to get the order to bend those grab irons, this is the only thing I could find that would give me that leverage at such a close range. So when these were bent, I'd have the end here, and I put it on the very end that I could get it onto, real close to the edge, and I had to take into consideration this angle, and then I would bend the pieces coming off, and that's how I got the bend. So it worked for me. I'm no expert, but if you're going to try and bend brass that way and you need something really scale, that would work for me. So I at least give you a little bit of a tip. So, okay. So I have, Willow Creek, I have 2 pair of scissors. Gopher Girl stole my small ones. So I have these larger ones, but I have a pair of small ones. And I'm wondering if I could use the small one to cut in more precision. So I could try that for sure. Either way, even with a X-Acto blade, you're going to have some bending with it anyway. And that's what I experienced even on that edge there. But I'm wondering if the scissors wouldn't just help anyway, because it would be, the force of it might do well. So, Daryl, yeah, that's okay, Daryl. I don't know who got me into this scratch building and the AP program for the NMRA. I don't know how I landed here. I like the ready to run stuff too. Surgical scissors. I could look for those. Thank you, John. Yes, it's stealing if you don't give them back, Gopher Girl. So one of the other tools I wanted to bring up, well, because I don't remember what it was for, but it was for bending stuff. So it was probably bending some of the, I also have 025 brass wire too that I was using for parts of this. So I was looking for something to bend, and I had a pair of pliers, but they're big and bulky, and I can't get small bends. And if I want a sharp bend or something, I thought about how about like a small pliers, and at Michael's I got these small pliers. They're kind of springy here, so you got to put a lot of pressure to hold them. And so I've used these for a few things. But what I wanted to show was the other thing is I have these wire cutters. But again, big and bulky for the size I'm working on. And it dawned on me that this came with 3 things in this pack. So here I have the same type of cutters. And so I've been using that, and it's been helping with much more precise cutting. So Randy, dude, maybe I don't know quilting scissors, but I thought those type of scissors had like different edges to them, like almost like U-shaped edges to them. So anyway, so I found these helpful, and then the other thing I have in here somewhere is I got those from Micromark. I got the bending tool for the coupler. The couplers, well, it also came with this. So this is even more precision. So if, like, Randy, you want to do end scale, this might be helpful for bending the wire on the couplers as well. But it can be helpful to bend anything, really. And so I'm glad I got this. I got some extra use than I thought I was. So I just wanted to show you. It came in a 3-pack. It wasn't, I don't remember exactly how much, but it was certainly, in my book anyway, it was affordable. And I know I know affordable means something different to everybody, so I'm always careful when I say something is affordable or something didn't cost much. Um, but yes, some useful tools there, and those are in the bead section at Michael's. That's where I found those. So yeah, so that's where I got to. And so I'll keep working on that. I haven't gotten lights yet for the so there's two sets of lights I was looking for still, and I'll probably get the SMDs as was suggested earlier for the ditch lights on the cab car, and then I am probably going to go with adding, because I just want to make it harder on myself. So I just probably going to add the beacon lights. And so I'll have to get some of those as well. But the other one there, again, this is a money thing, is getting the decoder for it. And just because there are so many lights, I may need the decoder buddy to help out with that. So we'll see. I might just wire up the marker lights regardless of side. I just might put all four together. That would be less pads to solder to, but I still might need the decoder buddy for that. So that's an extra cost above a decoder. And if I'm going to use a decoder buddy, you need a 21 pin decoder for that. And so that kind of is stopped right now until I figure out where I get the money for that. I have a little bit of money saved up, but I can't really just blow all my money on that right away. I'm very frugal because I don't have a lot to put towards the hobby. And so that's where I'm at with that. Now I could certainly work on the other cars. I could start working on those. I really what I've got a little bit of a block trying to get back into doing the New Brunswick station. That's the feature model, and it was intimidating, and it's intimidating to start it up again. So I've got to get my mojo on with that. So so we'll see what I start working on next. Now, Split Rock, who's in the crowd somewhere in there, had challenged me to get some of these cars ready to show coming up, in at I think they're going to do something with the AP program at the modelers meet. But I certainly want to get these evaluated. Once again, the bulk of the points on scratch building cars is going to be on construction, and I know that's where all my points are going to be, are not going to come from. For instance, I should get 15 out of 15 points. You only, for a scratch build, you only get 15 points out of the 125. The most you can get for it being scratch build is 15 points. I think construction is 40 points, if I remember correctly, and some other pieces to it. So I still hope to get both cars to be able to be evaluated at least by May. That would be nice. We'll see if that's possible. We have a division meeting coming up in a couple weeks. And the ask was to bring flat cars and loads. And so what I featured on here before was the pipe load made out of the doggy bag centers, the dog bag rolls. With the I can't even speak for whatever reason. Dog poop bag rolls have a plastic center, and I use those to make a pipe load or half a pipe load on a car. So I'll probably bring that in. I know that Several people in the division have already seen it, but I'll try and remember to bring that. Um, Speaking of which, we have two events essentially in coming up in this month, and so we have our division meeting, which will one of the features will be um, the flat car loads, and we'll have some other things going on. But one of my favorite events that we put on, I have a couple favorites, is called a skills day, and it's everybody just sharing their skills. It's different than a clinic, and in that you have somebody guiding the topic, but everybody shares their experiences and helps other people and learns themselves. And I there was one where we were using the taco sauce, the to me a panel liner, um, and so while it was guided by somebody, we all shared in that. And so I'm gonna throw it up. So hopefully now it's an event for members and non-members. There's a small cost to it. So let me just bring up our information. You can find this information at tcdnmra.org. But let's just show you since we're here. So here you go. So it's in South St. Paul, Minnesota. It's a really nice space where it's super open. It's a second floor, and there is an elevator if you need an elevator. And basically, we set up tables at 3 different areas, separated a little bit from each other to give us room. And we've done things like we had one section was the decals or decals for our Canadian friends. Like I said, using the panel liner was another one. In this one, as you can see here, there's going to be a skill on weathering, track ballasting, and freight car tuning. And so this is, I think, the toughest thing for me coming to these is figuring out what tools I want to take. The last one I got to, I had kind of a small toolbox, and I was trying to figure out what to put in. And I think we need a clinic on what do you bring to a skills day as far as tools, because I can take my whole bench with me. So and so whoever is gonna talk about weathering or get us started on the weathering, we're all gonna sit there and share our experiences. I'm gonna share my experiences with powders and oils and acrylics, and how much I hate oils because they take too long to dry and I have no patience. Things like that. And I know everybody doesn't love track ballasting. It's not everybody's favorite thing. So hopefully we can help each other make it an easier thing to do. I'll certainly talk about my experience with, ballast from Walthers, which everybody seems to use. And Arizona Rock and Mineral is what I like to use. So I'll be espousing that when I'm there. So that's the kind of thing that we do. And here's some pictures. You can see me over here. This was when we were trying to use that panel liner, and you can see there's like 6 of us at the table at the time, and the guy that's standing there in the corner, he was kind of guiding us, and then we were helping with each other and stuff. And I even brought my own. I had 2 bottles of the panel liner, so I brought that to have people share. There's so much of it and everything, and so it's a real fun thing to do. I'm glad we're going to keep doing it. And so I encourage anybody to go. And if you didn't notice here, it's $5 for NMRA members, $10 for non-members, and that's strictly for cost. I think the last one they did a soldering um, 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 skill, and so for and they actually brought supplies for that and things like that. So it's really just to cover that, and really all we want to do is help each other out. So okay, so you're talking about, hey, have a good night, Daryl. It was nice to see you in here. I appreciate you stopping by. Um, so Split Rock, you said you're doing 3D prints of the of your ore loads. So I've kind of, when I went out to New Jersey, I kind of got um, the itch a little bit, and you know, so so I would certainly, and I'm fine. When you talk 3D printing, um, if you want ultra detailed, you want to use a resin printer. If you want, if otherwise, if you didn't need ultra detailed and you want very detailed, and some additional sanding that you need to do to get rid of some lines, um, the a filament printer, which is the stringy stuff, is the way to go. And so I've been toying with saving up money, talking about saving up money for the hobby, is saving up money to get a filament printer. And what I'm looking for, what I'd really like to do, this is a 50, I think the 56 foot or something like that car. This one, the passenger cars are that don't even fit in here unless I do that. These are 85 foot scale. When you get this big, for filament printer, it gets real tight, and so they have some larger ones, but of course a larger build area is going to cost a little bit more money. So I don't know if I'm going to do that. The other thing I toy with too is, do I save up money for a better camera for live streams and for videos? I know my videos could, and I haven't put one out in a while, but they could certainly use a better camera than I have, because I use my iPhone for that. You know, the nice people with the nice cameras and have really nice pictures, really nice video, really nice live streams, they're all using $400, $600, $800 cameras and things like that. So it's all in how you budget your money. But if I was going to get a 3D printer and it was going to be filament, it's harder to build upwards like a resin printer, because it builds from the bottom up. Something like this being on an angle and reducing your build plate area is not as big of a deal as when you're doing filament, because filament is just doing lines and squares and things, and it's just putting down a layer by layer onto the build plate. So it's harder to have something suspended like that. So mine's pretty old now. And I'm using an iPad that we have for the camera for the live streams, and it's not wired in. It's Wi-Fi camera, so you have some degradation there as well. So not as happy with that. So I don't actually film with that. I film with, when I'm filming a video, I film with my iPhone instead of the iPad. But you know, it's all how you budget. I like to go to our events, but some of our events cost a little more money. So I didn't go. I didn't have the money at the time, and didn't go to our last year's um, regional event for the Thousand Lakes region. And the first one I ever went to was a little bit closer. I didn't have to pay for a hotel or anything. I just could go from home, as it was in Bloomington, Minnesota. And I had like the best time with that, and going to see layouts, going to clinics. I did a scratch build billboard and entered that in for evaluation. And that was really helpful and fun. And I also shadowed the evaluators in the celebration room, and that was amazing and really helped my modeling. And maybe someday I can get back to one of these conventions and even help with the evaluation. Hey Ken, welcome. How did the um, layout tours last weekend go? Um, like I said, I wanted to make it out to Joe Binish's, but I was just still not feeling well, so I didn't get a chance to go. So I'm curious how that went. Hoping you got some folks over, and I'm hoping to go to Wilmer Split Rock. That's another thing. Got to save the money. So my money comes out of essentially two ways. Um, I get a paycheck, and Gopher Girl lets me have $10 out of each paycheck, and that goes into the kitty for model railroad stuff, and then we're season ticket holders for the University of Minnesota hockey team, men's hockey, and some of the games we can't go to. If we can't go to them, we'll sell the tickets, and then we share the money, and Gopher Girl gets Lego money, and I get model railroading money. So once again, not a whole lot coming in, and so I've got to figure out all of this. So that would be awesome if we could do that. I'm not a great salesman. I don't know if I can sell my worth for going for a scholarship, but that would be something cool if something was available like that. But I encourage anybody to go uh, to go to one of these conventions, and we usually have some stipulation for getting in folks that are not NMRA members for at least a day or two. And so hopefully that will continue, and we can enjoy. Well, Gopher Girl's got some Lego trains. She sure could keep it. She could keep it in the. She also said, by the way, that she kind of wants to build her own Lego layout. Talk about needing space for something like that. You know, I don't know if they do um, Lego modules. I'm sure somebody does, but that would be neat to have all her trains out, or her building a city, and showing that off as well. But yes, we always, in the celebration room, we always have some not necessarily train related categories for people to um, bring some things in, and show their work. And so uh, absolutely. All right, so let me go ahead and um, let's go to our show and tell, and I will be back with you shortly. So what we have here is, you'll notice it's N scale. So I started with N scale because of space restrictions in our old apartment. And when I decided I wanted to try a kit, once again, I don't do anything easy. My first kit wasn't some plastic Walters kit or anything like that. It was this Downtown Deco Trackside Tavern kit. And I got started on this, and you saw in the pictures. So I got started on this, but again, I didn't have the experience. I didn't have the experience, and I didn't know where to find resources yet in the hobby. This is before I was an NMRA member, and I was really just getting into it. So I got discouraged really quick on this one. I would say that it's probably not a beginner build, just from my experiences. Now that I know more, I don't think it's necessarily a expert build, but certainly there are things that I had to learn that I didn't learn yet, and I was just following the directions. So even before we look at it, let me just show you these directions. So this packet of information is, you can see here, several pages are the directions. And goes through, and they have, all the directions you need. They have pictures throughout, and what you need to do in dealing with this type of building, which was very different than others. They even have some scale here, and you can see here's the N scale version, but it's a lot. So also intimidating is going through and going through this whole thing and understanding what needs to be done, and all the different steps. So, wow, I don't know if you can hear that, but the dogs are going nuts outside the room here. So this is as far as I got. I got the walls together somewhat. You can see. So does Greg do the has he done the Downtown Deco stuff, or is that what you're referring to, or you're referring to the Legos? So okay. So what was most frustrating about this wasn't the material and gluing that. That wasn't the most frustrating. I don't know if you can see this, but look at that paint job. Stellar paint job, I can tell you. For one, I don't have a steady hand, so I didn't learn techniques on how to steady my hand. I didn't learn about, smaller brushes, and how to paint those things. I didn't learn about masking yet or anything like that. So when I did this, I got really discouraged at the painting part of it. And you can see, let's see if you can see here. There you go, a little bit. I didn't do anything with some of that flashing that's on there that could have been taken off. And just, everything's uneven, and I would just put more paint on. I didn't know how to change colors of paint, things like that. From afar, it's not bad, but up close, it's terrible, in my opinion. And at the time, I just didn't like it. You can see it comes with some wood parts. I got those in there. That's about as far as I got in the detailing. So it's something I probably would like to try again at this point. Not an N scale. Again, that's too small for me at this point. But it's something that, maybe I'll tackle again um, when the opportunity arises. When I look at when I, and so the moral of the story is this is a first time. No, I no split rock. I had no idea about priming anything at the time. Um, when I talk about novice, I was novice. It was like um, I think I was able to find paints at the time because there were paint colors in here that they talked about. So I wouldn't have known what paint colors to pick out at all. Um, but I think the directions in here had them. Um, so, and I probably, and there's a section in here in the directions on hiding the joints and things, but I'm pretty sure I was not real excited about having all those gaps and working with uneven surfaces and things like that. But the thing is, I still did it. I still got started with it. Yeah, but you know, I'm just a little disappointed that I didn't continue with it or I didn't learn what I could. But this was I don't know what um I don't know exactly when I bought it, but it was really, really early in the hobby. So I didn't honestly have um I wasn't prepared for it. And it's certainly something I would try again. Um but it's because I know more and these aren't the because I jumped in because I always say just jump in. This isn't it's not rocket science to get this done. Um, I know where the resources now, obviously a new one too that Greg Dahl, I could reach out to him. I'm sure he would help out with understanding how to do those. Um, Along the way, talk about not understanding how to paint things. Um, there's another Minnesota company that makes metal castings of models. Um, and so I wanted to get a car and try that. And this is the wild paint job that I did on that. Again, going back to I didn't know anything about primers or how to paint them and how to do this. And I had another vehicle. It was uh, it's GHQ. That's the company. I don't know if you can see it in there, but it's GHQ, and they're a Minnesota company. Um, Painting the wheels. Had no idea how to paint these wheels, um, and and I didn't even know what glue to use, for instance, to glue these on. So this happened to be in this box. I just found this, so that's kind of interesting. Um, I could handle this now. It won't be a great paint job, but I can certainly handle something like this now. Now, I got a utility truck or a dump truck of some sort from them, and boy, was that intimidating. It wasn't this basic, here's a car on four wheels. Um, but for some reason, they happen to be in the box there. And so that just wanted to show that you know uh, I'm still this is probably I don't know 10 years ago, maybe 10, 12 years ago, I'm guessing that I tried this, and I'm still in the hobby and I'm still doing the thing, right? And so again, it's just jump in and try it. I didn't run away from it. I put this one away, but I didn't run away from the hobby. And so that's just my advice to people is just try stuff and, go find your resources. If I don't know ask me. If I don't know, I'll find you a resource, and find you somebody to talk to, and so again, that was just my message with this one. Um, I think the details pretty cool on these two. By the way, I don't know if you can see that, but the fact I these are obviously cast, so you can get the molds in there. I actually really like how that there are some bricks that are um, intentionally coming off the wall, because that's what happens to old brick structures. Hey, John, have a great night. I appreciate you stopping in. Um, and here, if this gets painted well, this would look fantastic with it's like covered over with cement, and then the brick underneath, and then there's a third layer talking about age with the stone on there. Um, Here's some more with the raised brick. I think this is some flashing. Um, so I've always liked the way the downtown deco buildings looked. Um, of course, if you take a look at the pictures, you know, it's so there's two ways to look at the pictures on boxes and things like that. It's you can be inspired by them or intimidated by them. And I think the stopping point for me on this one was the painting. That was the intimidating part. Like I said, gluing the walls together, working with the flashing and everything, not intimidating at all. It was the painting piece. And so to then look at what you have on here, or to see what other people do, I think I took it the wrong way and I just put it away. So Ken, by the way, we talked about before you got in here, we talked about the skills day. I put up the website information um, on the skills day. It's one of my favorite things that we've done, and I plan to be there, and hope that other people show up for that as well. I think it's a winning event, and I think people get a lot out of it. We always have great feedback from it. It's super affordable. Again, I say that because it's affordable to me. Well, it's half of my model railroading allowance out of one of my paychecks, so it's sort of affordable. Um, and and so I encourage anybody, if you have $5 or $10 and you're in the area, to come out and learn with us and teach us, because that's what it's all about. So so jumping back in here, I wanted to see how the tour went of your layout, Ken, and so that's good. Everything ran. That's always good for a layout tour. Um, so I'm glad to hear it, and I'm glad to hear that you had some folks stop by. I'm sure you had some good snacks out for everyone as well. So yeah, Willow Creek. I really like the detail of the downtown deco kits. Like I said, I think it's certainly something uh, that I could certainly try. Um, for the layout that I'm building for the AP, I could certainly fit a building like this in. It wouldn't be out of place. some of the cities that the trains go through in New Jersey are very old, and so some of these older buildings that downtown Deco does could uh, certainly could fit. So um, not out of the realm of possibility for me to do one for to add to um, the layout. So what else? What's everybody else working on? I know Willow Creek. I was seeing some of the stuff you were working on the YouTube. Dwight, you're always working on projects on your layout. Obviously, Ken was working. Had the layout tour coming through, so he was focused on that all last week and everything. Um, Split Rock, what are you working on right now? I think you were working on a signal tower last time we talked. What I like about Ken's layout, by the way, too, is he's got his lounge area kind of centered in the middle of his layout. So you have a 360-degree view of his layout when you're tired and need to sit for a bit, and you can just watch trains. It's a really neat setup that he has going around the edge of his basement. He's got one little area. I think you have to look into a slightly separate area, um, a small switching area that he has back there. But again, it's really neat his setup. So I'm glad I've been over. I've been over there a couple times to see it, and I hope to get over to see the new industrial area as well. Yeah, it can, but I like I do like it. I'll also say I like when I come over and there's food too. So just saying, you can get me with food and with anything if you but absolutely I like the way that's set up. Oh yeah, so you're working. Wish you could fly halfway around the world and come to our skills day and teach us your ballasting. Uh, but yeah. Mom, if you're still in the chat, what are you working on, or what are you planning to have me work on next time I'm over? So me want to find for you, let you know what's next on the. Ken, same way on my current two modules that I have. I only have certain areas that are ballasted. I haven't ballasted the whole thing either. Oh, you're getting right. That's right. You have the. Is that November when you have that show in Cherry Hill? And are you going to bring the? Is it the X-ray machine? Is that coming with you? That's really neat. Now that it's lit up. Where did it go? That's it. So what I'm looking for is clinics again to see what I've got going next. And because I didn't really look ahead at this, now that I actually got through the brake wheel, which was shocking. Okay, so I still have to get the stirrups for the corners done. Um, then they really want you to get really super detailed. And the next thing up will be the coupler locking pin arms. We're definitely getting super detailed there. And so more fun with brass wire. Looks like you're going to have to do some make some small parts out of styrene to mount that. Then after that comes um, the wood planks. These old guys. So I have to fix that. But so remember, I was saying with those wood planks, even though I measured everything out, the wood planks are probably the right size, but things are too far apart otherwise. So you can see these are not going to go straight across. Um, they'll fit in between the stake pockets, but we're gonna leave some white there on the edges. So here's a question for the group. Now cutting these sides didn't go well. You can see all kinds of jagged edges and things. Should I actually cut this back to the steel beam between the stake pockets? Because I mean, what I'm worried about doing that, if I do that, is that the stake pockets are glued mostly to the sides of these. But I'm wondering if I should do that or if I should just get some more wood and make them longer, or with the wood I have left, maybe cut these in different lengths and fill them to the edges. That's another thing maybe I could do, but of course I'm not showing you that. But maybe like if I cut them and did something like that to fill it, then I could fill it all the way through potentially. I'd be interested to hear what y'all have to say about that. So I haven't, Randy, I haven't been on Facebook much. Have you put up that hotel project on Facebook or anything that you're working on? Like I said, I haven't seen much. So trim them flush to that. Um, okay. And the stake pockets may stay just fine, because I did try to glue them all to three sides essentially, so I could try to do that for sure. Um, on Well Creek, on the ballast, was it just glued down in the normal way, the way most people would do it with just the white glue mix? Um, how did you pull the ballast up? Is what I'm getting at, and was it a lot of trouble to pull the ballast up? Uh, I know that when I was trying to, at one point, at parts of it, I was trying to um, cover some areas that I didn't want ballast to get onto, and I put tape on, and the ballast was kind of went over top, and it was so solid, it was hard to get the tape from underneath. And so, just curious how you were getting that up. as well. And what kind of ballast are you using? Are you using Woodland Scenics? Are you using other ballast from that you're able to source? Or um, for me, I use Woodland Scenics ballast. I didn't like chasing the little shells around. The little shell pieces were really annoying, and you had to keep going over and over and over to get them off the ties and the rails and things. So I moved to Arizona Rock and Mineral, and I like that a lot better for handling. And it's, it's the even though they're little tiny pieces, they're heavier than the what are they, walnut shells that Woodland Scenics uses. So I've been using the Arizona Rock and Mineral for that. So so I'm wondering also going back to your suggestion of cutting them flush, if I do that over here, would it look better to have another stake pocket over here, or would we be fine with them um, further in? I suppose looking at a prototype picture might help with that question, but curious on that as well. It just, you know, so when I look at the, so this is like a, let's see if I can do this. This is kind of a truncated version that they show you. Um, so my concern is, like, if I do go flush, it's the stake pocket. So these little inlets are where the stake pockets go. So I was just wondering how that would look. Um, I just think I measured out everything on the bottom wrong, lengthwise. So, um, but we'll see. That'll be next on the list. Um, and then adding the trucks, and then one last construction step on the end, and then I'll be able to say it's done, which will be nice to have it done. Okay. So, oh, you're mixing it with tile grout. Interesting. Okay. So you're mixing in. So when you're mixing in the tile grout with the ballast, I assume you're mixing in the tile grout powder. It's not the pre-mixed grout, right? That's an interesting way to do it. So, all right. So, okay. So I will leave it there. I appreciate everybody coming in and joining me. We're just hitting almost an hour and 15 minutes, and I really appreciate you sticking with me and through all my updates and sticking with me when I wasn't getting stuff done. And I hope to continue to have this, close this out soon, hopefully. Um, One of these things that's when I do the wheels, I'm probably gonna cut these edges off. They don't look natural to me. When I was following the directions, and that's a piece of that's some of the glue, that bubbled up on there has to come off anyway. But that doesn't look natural to me to have that come up over the beam. So I'll probably cut those off right at the edge of the beam. That definitely has to come off, that piece of glue. Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling and let you all go about your model railroading business, and appreciate you all in. And I agree, Ken. It's fun. It's fun to show you where I'm getting to, and I appreciate all the chat and fun conversation that we have, and that's part of why I'm doing this. And that's that's the community part and the connection part, and I really appreciate that we have a worldwide audience. I can actually say that. I don't have a big audience, but it's a worldwide one, and I appreciate the different perspectives everybody brings to it, and that's part of the hobby that I really love. So everybody, just remember to just jump in and have a great rest of your weekend, and just have fun with your hobby.